Twin sisters from Monroe County have never given up their search for their father's killer, even 52 years after the murder.
John Leonard's case may be unsolved, but it hasn't gone completely cold, thanks in part to the efforts of his daughters. Action 16 Investigates' Stacy Lang shows us what the twins are digging up.
We took the information.
Life is never lonely when you have an identical twin, but Lori and Debbie Leonard admit that ever since their dad, John Leonard, was murdered when they were just 13, the hunt for his killer has been isolating.
I would like, and I think you too, and I know our three brothers always wanted as well, peace of mind to know why it was done and who it was.
And so did our dad and mom's siblings. They wanted answers, and now they're dead, sadly to say.
Because we're the only two left.
The sisters are in their 60s now and are renewing what's been a lifelong investigation. In Lori's kitchen in Scioto, the twins pore over the story of their lives.
That's every newspaper article.
And the story of their dad's death. John Leonard was a cab driver in Cresco. On September 8th of 1970, he answered a call at the once iconic Buck Hill Falls Inn that was demolished in 2017. According to police reports, a man approached the cab at Buck Hill Falls. He was carrying a shopping bag. Moments later, Leonard was found near his cab with gunshot wounds to his head. Lori and Debbie remember that day like it was yesterday, but only now aren't getting a look at the massive police case file. The Monroe County DA's office agreed to hand it over this summer after releasing part of it to a reporter.
They gave us a 900-page report, and we're not through it yet, but we're finding so many inconsistencies and inaccuracies.
They've got binders and boards, note cards, and newspaper clippings.
Well, I think the organization part is we both started out as secretaries, so
Way back in the day.
This isn't just a two-person team. Lori's husband, Randy, helps too.
Facts jump out at you, and as soon as we get a fact, we make a note of it, and we'll put it up there, and then we see how everything lines up.
Among the inconsistencies, some of the most basic facts of the case, like when John Leonard died. The coroner's report says 1:50 p.m., but the state police report says nearly an hour later, 2:45. There's also a sketch of a possible suspect that was never released before this year. The twins have a lot more digging to do because they're hoping this information solves two cold cases.
We have two boards, one for our dad and then the one for our mom.
Lori and Debbie believe their mother, Madeline, was also murdered.
Lori and I always have that sixth sense in your stomach, and it was like, oh, something happened.
Madeline called home in February of 1973 and told her daughter she was going to check out a lead in John's case. She was killed in a car crash hours later.
When she called us and said, I have a tip on your dad, so somebody lured her out.
right, that's what we feel.
Investigators in Monroe County have never called Madeline Leonard's death a homicide. Even as recently as this summer, investigators told the Leonard sisters they would not exhume their mother's body because there's not enough evidence to suggest she was murdered. But the Leonards are convinced the cases are connected and that someone who knows what happened is still out there.
It's been this way for 52 years for our dad and 50 for our mom now.
It's going to be 50.
So it's like, you know, somebody still has to know things out there. They're still alive, but yet just come forward and tell us so that we can, you know, bring this to resolution and have peace of mind
Right.
and honor them as they should be honored.
Right.
In Lori and Debbie, a killer may have just met their match. Stacy Lang, Action 16 Investigates.